a guy who won a city council seat. His past was unveiled. He was at Charlottesville. Big Nazi guy, you know. They're actually voting him out. I can't believe it. A small Oklahoma town is actually voting out an elected representative for being a Nazi. Devastating news, I assume, to the proud and noble white nationalist community of America. How bad do you have to be for a small Oklahoma town to vote you out? Seriously. Several residents in Enid blasted City Council Commissioner Judd Blevins at a public meeting last fall for participating in the 2017 Unite the Right rallies in Charlottesville, Virginia. They also highlighted offensive comments he was accused of making online under a pseudonym. What offensive comments, I ask you? Others defended Blevins, saying he had a right to free speech. Classic. But Derwin Norwood, the only black commissioner of the city council, made an impassioned plea at the end of the meeting, scolding the community for fighting rather than forgiving. Norwood, who sits next to Blevins at the council meetings, then asked him to stand up, told him he loved him, and gave him a hug. Wow, thanks. That's great. Love that. I realized that in forgiving him, I freed myself from becoming what he was or still may be. I had to free myself. You were a white nationalist, and by hugging the white nationalist, you freed yourself. What? Okay. Voters on Tuesday decided to oust Blevins, who has denied being a white nationalist, in favor of Cheryl Patterson, a different conservative, in a race that's thrown the city into a deep ideological divide over questions of forgiveness, accountability, and U.S. history. What forgiveness? He denies white nationalism. Okay. Oh, okay. Enid has a population of about 50,000. That's not a small town. That's a medium-sized town. Known for its towering grain elevators. Oh, yeah. Tourist city over here in northern Oklahoma. The article tying him to Charlottesville went unnoticed when two local Democrats tried to confront Blevins about the issue at a candidate event shortly before the election. Blevins still won the race for Ward 1 by 36 votes. A total of 808 votes were cast. I love local politics. When Blevins took office in May, the small Enid Social Justice Committee, God bless these guys. God bless these people. I mean it. If you're in a small town and you're, northern Oklahoma, and you're out there, the Enid Social Justice Committee. Come on. Hell yes. Developed a more vocal campaign to bring attention to his recent history, holding protests and speaking up at city council meetings. Christy Balden, chair of the group, said she was horrified when she learned of Blevins' connection to white nationalist activity. Blevins acknowledges he attended Charlottesville rallies and was spotted in multiple videos and photographs. At a candidate forum last week, Blevins said he, quote, felt it was important to protest the removal of statues of American soldiers. You guys remember which soldier was getting removed? Because he wasn't American. He specifically left America. Famously. Here's him holding a tiki torch at the Tiki Torch rally where they were shouting, "Jews will not replace us."
Judd Blevins wants voters to keep him in office as a city commissioner. But who is he really? And who are his shady backers from Texas? Blevins' hate group ties to Texas aren't new. Leading up to, and after the deadly Unite the Right rally in 2017, Blevins worked alongside fellow members of the white supremacist hate group Identity Europa in both Oklahoma and Texas to spread racist and neo-Nazi propaganda.
Yep, I'm sure he was just protesting to support American soldiers, Never mind all the Hitler memorabilia in his basement.
And those ties continue. Blevins' most recent campaign donors report shows 95% of his campaign funds come from one man, Joshua Burko, of Irving, Texas. Burko is business partners with a man named Robert Whitted, an organizer for the white supremacist hate group, Patriot Front. Along with
This is real conspiracy shit. I know you're joking about the music and the AI voice that were probably cobbled together by the Social Justice Committee or whatever, but literally, yeah, Nazis being funded by Nazis.
Third man, Burko and Whitted own a company called Sphinx Vending. The company features a logo with the Egyptian Sphinx and a collection of hieroglyphs commonly appropriated by white nationalists as a symbol for white, life, prosperity, and health.
I don't know anything about this. Probably, though. They love appropriating.
Whitted was arrested last year, along with 30 other members of Patriot Front, who were stopped in a cargo van, wearing body armor, carrying shields with white nationalist symbols. The group had traveled from Texas and several other states to disrupt a community pride festival in Idaho. Whitted, and 4 other organizers were convicted of criminal conspiracy to incite a riot. Again, Whitted, the Patriot...
Okay, this music is getting too much, man. This is getting ridiculous. This is copyright music. It's just getting louder, too.
Front organizer is partners with Burko, who gave Blevins 95% of his campaign funds. So, what is Patriot Front?
Okay, I can't... If you scroll down on the page, they have his alt account posts. One says Hitler never would have allowed this shit. Here's the tiki torch. Nice, nice. Yeah, this is ENIDSocialJusticeCommittee.org/evidence. This entire website, all of this was a bunch of like, maybe not even a bunch of, a small number of progressives in a small northern Oklahoma town bringing this to people's attention. This is a lot of work. Make America Beautiful Again, identity. You know what? I think this guy just likes American soldiers. Hitler never would have allowed this shit. Ah, look. Christmas Haas Groiper. I'm contemplating this guy's ideology. Is this him or what he's responding to? How much money does it take to run a local campaign? For city council in a small town? Not that much. So by my count, there will be 4 or maybe 5 of us Oklahoma goys. I just can't feel safe if I'm not packing an AR with a 100-round drum and sporting my swastika armband. Ah, yes, Identity Europa. Very powerful, yes. You strike fear in the heart of Jew. Starting to wonder if he's a Nazi. Well, Jewish hag. No, wait, well, you don't know that. Okay, let's not just go calling everyone Nazis. What are the 14 words? Katie Tur's dad is a Jewish tranny whose claim to fame is being a helicopter. Okay, we get it. So anyway, this is the guy that this black man hugged, saying afterwards, I realized that in forgiving him, I freed myself of becoming what he was or still may be. Okay. Blevins has also denied he's ever identified as a white nationalist or a white supremacist. In one message less than a month before the 2017 rallies, Conway wrote positively about Adolf Hitler. Okay, they have some of the bits here. I'm a different man today. If you're a different man today, why lie about how you used to be? Like, that's the real... people say, oh, well, what about forgiveness? Okay, then why lie, right? Why say you were never a white nationalist? You were a Nazi. You still are a Nazi. Like, you 100% still are. But if you lied, you know, I'm a different man today than I was yesterday. There is no hate in my heart. All there is the desire to follow the Lord. But I'm not going to apologize for the things I never was. Okay. Blevins again held his ground about speaking freely about one's values and convictions. All of us have said foolish things in our lives. We've said things we regret. And we have especially said things through the phone when taken out of context can make you look like a terrible person. Man, I hate it when I get taken out of context praising Hitler and attending the Nazi rally and talking about Jews and so on, you know? I've had some of the worst moments of my life put on blast the world, and if I've offended anyone in here, then I ask to be forgiven. Asked to be forgiven? I thought you said you weren't going to apologize for... Oh, man, it seems like you're waffling a little bit, you know? And then that black guy said, no, this is when the pick-me got up and hugged him. This guy. Norwood, a self-identified moderate Republican, has no regrets. He felt convicted, he said. Oh, sorry, I felt convicted, he said. Up until that moment, I struggled with it, but I forgave him. Okay. Asked specifically about his ties to Identity Europa, Blevins argued his role as a city council commissioner is not relevant to an organization that is Hispanic. Sir, what do you have to say about people who claim that you were part of the Argentinian Nazi Party, an organization that disbanded in 2017? Here are photos of you Sieg Heiling. You've got the SS uniform, the armband. That organization doesn't exist anymore, and I don't see how that's relevant to what I'm doing now. Anyway, he was voted out. So in spite of how bleak it might seem, you know, the work of that social justice committee worked, you know? He lost his seat on Enid's 6-member city council by 268 votes. Nearly 1,400 people turned out, about a quarter of Ward 1's registered voters. That is insane. A quarter of all of the registered voters in Ward 1 in that area for the city council. That is massive. They must have spoken to like every door, every single person, you know? I'm telling you guys, local work is where it's done. Local work is where it's done, you know? If you care, you can do a lot of good. You can do so much good, especially in smaller communities, you know? Blevins will be replaced by Cheryl Patterson, a former teacher and longtime Republican. Oh, yeah. They're not replacing him with a Democrat. This is a Republican city, okay? That was never That was never the question, you know? But this is a reminder, in spite of how bad it might seem, even deep red areas can be turned against Nazis, right? Like even in an environment like this, the right-wing environment, a small group of progressives can move it over. We won, said Connie Vickers, a Democrat in conservative Enid, who was among the first to publicly confront Blevins over his white nationalist ties. Blevins lost, hate lost. That's so good. Blevins said that if he lost, he had no plans to run again. I just go back to private life, he said. Life goes on. Fuck off. And fuck that guy who hugged him, too. They won't get rid of him, though. It's like the token black guy. We're not all racist. Sorry. Just makes me feel good, you know?